Hi guys, hope you're having a great evening. This is Sheila and Fred from the Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures, or FS Investigates.
And I don't know what you'd call this evening's video because we're not investigating and we're not Hatfield McCoying. So we were watching a video a while ago of a police shooting that had taken place in Jacksonville, Florida, where they were getting a fella out of the car, pulled over for a simple traffic stop, dealing with a red light, yellow light or red. And cop saying it's red, driver was saying it was yellow.
Okay.
You know what yellow means? Go fast.
No, it doesn't.
And the fella says that he's got a gun on him, so the officer, everybody, if you don't carry a gun nowadays, you should. So it shouldn't have been that alarming to him. This was just a regular traffic stop. The fella was nice, wasn't nothing out of the way going on, but
Right.
the officer decides that, hey, I need you to get out of the car. I need to take your gun from you. And
Well, he asked him if he had a permit, and he said no. Then he asked him if he was a felon.
he said no.
Right.
So Florida is a constitutional carry state, I believe, and if they are, then he didn't need a permit.
Right.
If it's constitutional carry. Now, I could be wrong, but
Right.
let's just assume it doesn't matter. He's got the weapon on him. They get him out of the car, and two other officers show up.
Right.
The female officer begins to take the gun off the side of the driver. It's a Glock. Anybody owns a Glock or deals with Glock knows about Glocks. You know that the safety is, where's safety at, babe?
It's on the trigger, next to the trigger there, so when you put your finger on it, you know it's there.
Exactly. On a Glock, the safety is on the trigger. So you have to have your finger on the trigger to shoot the gun. So when this lady, this woman cop, was taking the gun off of this guy, she's put her finger on the trigger. In fact, I'm going to do a video on it tomorrow on my channel, Fred McCoy. So you may want to go over and subscribe. But I'll do a video tomorrow and show what happened there. But Sheila and I was talking, and we just had a shooting class Saturday for CCDW here in Kentucky. I was a police firearms instructor for about 38 years. I'm a carry concealed instructor trainer, which means I train other instructors, and Sheila is a carry concealed instructor. She teaches men and women their permits, the training to get their permits. We had a class Saturday, and we was over there sitting watching that video, and I thought about 4 scenarios that we give out to people.
Right.
We thought maybe that'd make an interesting video for any of you guys that carries concealed or carries a gun, whether you're concealed or not. May educate you a little bit, may let you see how things can go. But anyway, this topic here that we was on was use and misuse of force. And we always tell the people, when a reasonable person believes that his or her life is in imminent danger of serious physical injury or death. Other than that, unless your life is in serious physical injury or death, and imminent, I mean, it's getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
Don't use your, pull your weapon or use your weapon.
Don't get involved.
Don't get involved. Now, I'm going to give out, we're going to give out 4 scenarios here.
Okay.
Here's 4 scenarios to go over. Pretend that you are the carry concealed person.
Okay.
Witnessing what is taking place. What would you do? How would you react in each one of these positions? Now, we're going to go over all 4 of them. So, if you're with your spouse there, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, somebody, and discuss these real fast as we go over them, and tell each other, so you can't change it later on. Tell them what you think's going on, what happened, and what you would do.
Okay.
And the first scenario is, you are a carry concealed carrier. You have your CCDW card, and you have your gun with you. As you're walking through a parking lot, you observe a man in a military field jacket with long hair and a beard. Pretty scraggly looking fella.
Okay.
He's holding a gun on another man. Now, the man that he's holding the gun on is in a three-piece suit, decked out. In fact, he's getting into a nice Cadillac Escalade. The guy in the suit has his hands up. The old scraggly guy got his gun on him. What's going on? What would you do? How would you react? So talk to your partner there. And what would you do? You going through a parking lot, you see a man out there, an old scraggly fella with a field jacket on, holding a gun on a guy in a three-piece suit getting into a Cadillac. What's going on? Let's go to the second scenario. Number two. You're a concealed carrier. You have your card. You have your gun. You're walking down the sidewalk on a fairly busy street. As you approach a little deli on your right, you see a man dart out. He's got a white bag, a little small bag in one hand, and he's got some money in the other. You just see green money.
Okay.
He's got money in the other hand. He takes off running in the same direction you're coming. You're coming south. He comes out of the store and he heads south.
Okay. There we go.
Right behind him comes a man out with an apron on who appears to be the store clerk, and he's hollering for him to stop. Wanting him to stop. What's going on? What would you do? How would you react? No. You're going down the street. Man runs out of a deli. He's got a bag in one hand, money in the other, takes off running down the street. Store owner comes out behind him, hollering for him to stop. What happened? What would you do?
We all decide.
Let's go to the third scenario. Third scenario. You've got your card. You've got your gun. You're going down a busy street. As you approach a liquor store off to your right, a man darts out. And he glances back at you. He's going in the same direction again.
Okay.
You're going south. He looks back at you, but he's running south. He says he's going to shoot me. He takes off running down the street. Here comes this little fella out with a M1 rifle. Raises it up to shoot the guy running down the street. What would you do?
What's going on?
What's going on? Thank you, babe. There you go. What would you do? Man runs out of a liquor store, looks back at you and says he's going to shoot me, and he takes off running. Guy runs out with an M1 rifle. He's going to shoot him. What would you do? You've got your gun. You've got your permit.
Song.
I thought I'd done it. All right. Last one, guys. Fourth scenario. You're a concealed carry. You have your gun. You have your permit. You're inside of a business and you hear sounds. What sounds like gunshots outside. You hear people screaming, blood-curdling screams. You run out the door into the park, you see people running and screaming everywhere. Lots of blood. People's bloodied up. You look around, people's falling. You see somebody out in a distance with a black pistol. They've got it up in the air. And these people screaming and hollering, bloody everywhere, but you see somebody holding a gun. What's going on? What would you do?
How would you react?
How would you react? Guys, these are pretty good scenarios.
They really are.
The reason we give them to you, we used to give them to people one at a time. Well, by the time you gave the first or the second one, they knew that it wasn't what it was.
Right.
And so they could second guess you. Now, each one of you all by now should have talked to each other and discussed, or in your mind, be thinking, what happened here? So let's go over them.
Okay.
Scenario one.
Okay.
The guy getting into the Cadillac. Go ahead, babe.
Guy getting to the Cadillac was a suspect in a murder case. The guy in the field jacket, beard, and long hair was an undercover police detective who had been tracking this murder suspect down for some time, and he finally got close enough to arrest him. The CCDW man, thinking he was getting robbed, pulled his gun and shoots and kills a police officer.
Wow. Did any of you guess that? If you did, smart. Way to go.
Yeah.
Just because something seems like it may be one way, it may be totally opposite.
And
This guy, go ahead.
I was just saying, just because you have your permit doesn't mean you should get involved in something you don't know what's really going on.
For sure, babe. Great. This guy thought he was being robbed. The guy in the suit was actually, if I remember correctly, a doctor. And he had killed his wife years ago, months ago. They'd been trying to apprehend him, and they finally got up to him. And the guy comes out. He's arresting him in the field jacket. The undercover cop was. Guy with his concealed carry permit shoots and kills undercover police officer. Go over the next one, babe.
Okay, in scenario 2, you saw, Fred was telling you about the gentleman who was waiting on the bus. He decided to go to the deli, get him a ham and cheese sandwich. He gives the clerk $5. And as the clerk was giving him back his change, which was $2 and some 86 cents, he takes the money in the white bag with a sandwich in it, runs out the door. Meanwhile, the clerk notices that the gentleman left his change, so he scoops up the change, runs out the door at him, and starts yelling, "Stop, stop." And the gentleman coming down the street, the person who had the carry concealed permit and their gun on their persons, pulled their gun and shot and killed the gentleman with the ham and cheese sandwich going towards the bus.
Shot and killed the man over a ham and cheese sandwich.
Right.
The guy was waiting on a bus. Decides to run in the deli and grab him a sandwich. Clerk puts it in a white paper bag for him. He gives the clerk a $5 bill. The clerk gives him back 2 ones and lays 86 cents on the counter. He notices the bus go by the window in front. The bus stops right out front. So the bus is stopping. So he grabs his sandwich in the bag and he grabs the 2 ones in the other hand, runs out the door. The guy walking down the street with his gun and his permit sees the bag in one hand, he sees this money in the other. He don't realize it's just $2. And the clerk runs out hollering for him to stop. He's going to give him his 86 cents to him, his change. This guy back here thinking he's been robbed.
Yeah.
Shoots and kills him.
Wow.
In jail.
So again, if it doesn't concern you, don't get
involved. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What did you all think about the first one when you read the scenario before we gave you the answer? Now, of course, this one here is not going to be the same neither.
Right.
But what did you guess that? Would you have shot because you thought he was robbing? The third scenario was the first guy to run out the door. Remember the liquor store? A guy runs out of the liquor store and looks back and tells you he's going to shoot
me. He's going to shoot me. Then, by the time he got a little further down the street, the store owner come out with a M1 rifle and pulls it up to shoot the guy there. So the carry concealed guy pulled his weapon and shoots
and kills the liquor store.
The owner.
The first guy that had come out there was right. The guy was going to shoot him. He went in there to rob the place, and the store owner had taken his gun from him and grabbed his rifle and gave chase. This guy outside with his permit and his gun, thinking the guy was just going to kill him for some reason, shoots and kills this guy with the rifle. Now, how the guy with the rifle was going to justify shooting an unarmed man as he ran across or down the sidewalk, we don't know. We don't care. It didn't concern us because we teach a concealed carry. We want this concealed carry person to be wise and not overreact. But this concealed carry person here, thinking he was going to shoot and kill him, he shoots and kills the guy with the gun. Just because something looks one way or you think it's some way may not be at all. Don't get involved if it don't concern you, or especially if you don't know what's going on.
I think in each scenario that the carry concealed person thought they would be a hero and and be saving the day. But
And they end up in jail.
yeah.
Fourth scenario. All these scenarios are true stories. This one was in Arizona, which is also a carry conceal state. In fact, the 21-year-old young man in the store that heard the fireworks, the gunshots, has his permit and was a crack shot. Could have very easily had taken the guy out holding the gun. It was a Glock, a black Glock, and said he could have very easily taken him out with one shot to the head. But he waits. He says the gun was pointed into the air, so it wasn't a threat.
Right.
I was just waiting to see if he was going to point it at anybody else, when all of a sudden these two other men stand up holding onto a bald-headed man who would later become known as Jared Lee Loeffner, who pleaded guilty to 19 charges of murder and attempted murder in connection with the January the 8th, 2011 Tulsa shooting, in which he shot and severely injured U.S. Representative Gabrielle Gifford, his target, and killed 6 people, including Chief U.S. District Judge John Rowe, as well as 9-year-old bystander Kristen Taylor Green. Loeffner shot and injured 13 other people, and one man was injured while subduing him. Had the young man jumped the gun and acted too quickly, he could have very well added another innocent name to the fatality list that day, and he too would have gone to jail. However, due to him having been trained to not assume anything and to make sure before he ever used his weapon, to make sure it was what he thought it was in the end, and that he would be justified, his patience, training, and maturity for such a young fella paid off. In the end, the two men had tackled Loeffner to the ground. They had taken his gun and handed it off to the third guy, who was holding it over his head instead of pointing it at anyone. This is why we say, if it doesn't concern you, don't get involved.
Yep.
Call
911.
Call 911. We just thought we'd make a little video, guys. As we were watching that video there when the police officer mishandled the weapon.
Yeah.
A police officer. She mishandled the weapon. She stuck her finger inside the trigger guard on that trigger and shot that guy right in the leg. Again, tomorrow, tune in to Fred McCoy 40
to see the full video
on YouTube, and I'll show it to you, along with another police officer. I'm showing a police officer every day for a while. That's shouldn't have been a police officer, maybe. Other than that, guys, if you don't have your permit, get your permit. If you're in a constitutional carry state, carry. You know, the permits, if you're in a constitutional carry state like Kentucky, you don't need a permit. You can carry open.
right.
You can carry concealed. Carry in your car, carry in your pocket, pocketbook. Be adult about it. Make sure there's no kids around. Watch how you secure your gun. All those things, but carry. You know, the only good defense against a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun who's a better shot and has the intestinal fortitude to use it if he should have to, or she.
Right. Right.
Hopefully you'll never, like Sheila says, for years and years and years. Better off to have it, not need it, is need it, not have it. And hopefully you'll never need it. As long as you've got one. Just the way things work. But sure as you don't have it, that's when something will happen. And it's a lot better how a person must feel. We also discussed a case in here where a man comes into a house, 2 guys, criminals, breaks into a house, rapes a man's son, or not son, but a daughter and wife. Yeah. While he's tied up and sees all this, and then he murders them both. He murders, he thought they was all 3 dead, but he murdered 2 women. Man lived through it, be able to tell what happened. This man was against guns, firearms. He didn't like guns. He didn't like the Second Amendment. He talks about what he would give to had a pea shooter on that night to protect his wife and daughter. He talked about how he had made a mistake all these years thinking they were bad, bang bangs were bad, and it's too late. His wife and daughter's dead, raped and dead now. I probably shouldn't have said that R word. Daggone, I wish people would act like adults on these channels and stuff, and let you say the word. I mean, that's use God's name in vain, but boy, don't say S word or R word or G word.
You want me to kind of beep that out for you?
Yeah, probably. Then you got to beep all this out, take it out. So.
Yeah.
Nah, just run it. Guys, Sheila, what you got? Have I leave anything out?
No, just know that you have to have safety with your guns and stuff, because now not only when the child does something that they shouldn't do, then the parents are being charged as well as the child that did the crime.
You can tell what part of the class Sheila teaches. That's Sheila's, some of what she teaches is child safety and children, and that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Just recently.
A boy was being bullied, and he committed a crime there, and so then they arrested the parents.
Parents are now in jail along with the boy because it was their gun. They didn't have it secure enough, and now they're starting to charge the parents
with the same crimes.
If the bang bang is easily accessible to a child or somebody that shouldn't have one.
Yep. So just be aware of that.
Good going, babe.
All right.
All right, guys. Everybody start carrying, protecting yourself, protecting your neighbor when you're justified. You know, the law says, or at least in Kentucky, a person's legally justified in using his firearm to protect somebody else in any predicament, position, that he would be justified in using deadly force to protect himself. So you're allowed to protect somebody else if they're in danger of serious physical injury or death. The question is, make sure that it is what it is before you pull that and use it and you end up in jail.
Yeah.
You're up, baby.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you're having a good evening. Please stay warm. Like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Guys, go to Fred McCoy 40 too. That's my page, and got some interesting videos there. I've just started it. If you would, if you don't care, subscribe to it. I need some subscribers. And going to have some interesting videos coming up.
Yeah. All right.
Sheila's not part of that one. That's okay.
Yeah. It's okay. That's yours. So it's all good. Bye, guys.